I have finally seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Hey everybody, Kuroda, Rob here. Let's take a little trip back to 1993, shall we? To a little movie called the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So, when it came to the Super Mario Bros. Movie that was released in 1993, let's just say it didn't quite meet fans' expectations and is a little bit more than divisive in many ways. I personally like that movie. I know it's not very good in terms of being an adaptation of the Mario games, but to me it's entertaining. But yeah, objectively it's not a good movie, especially for fans who really wanted to see a proper adaptation of the Mario games. Now, fast forward to a Nintendo Direct about, say a year ago, when this was first announced. Now, people had more than a little bit of trepidation towards this movie, I think, when it was first announced, particularly with the voice casting, just because they kind of picked a bunch of A-list celebrities to voice the characters and whatnot, and Mario's design wasn't looking amazing. Like, it wasn't nearly as bad as the original Sonic movie design. My god, it was not nearly as horrible as that, but, you know, the characters looked a little different, but that's to be expected with something like an adaptation of a game to a film. It's not going to look exactly the same, right? But nevertheless, it looks way more like Mario and Luigi and Princess Peach and Bowser and Toad than the original Super Mario Bros. Movie. So that said, with me personally, I had not reservations, but I decided to keep my expectations quite low, and I didn't rush out and see this movie. So that's why I didn't do a review of this sooner, because, you know, I sat on it a little bit. I also wanted to go see it with my family in New Jersey, so when I went down there about a week ago, we all went and saw it, and, well, here are my thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The financial success of this movie we should talk about really quick. It's a resounding success financially. It's just surpassed $1 billion, and I think is the 5th movie post-pandemic to do so, and it is one of the highest selling openings for an animated film ever. It might even be number 1. It's hovering along that spot, like 1 or 2. And which is incredible. I mean, it's a stark contrast to the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, which of course was live action, so it was different, but let's be realistic, it really needed an animated adaptation. It's Mario, you know, it's cartoony, it's really aimed at kids, and to make it more of a kids movie and pick a studio like Illumination, who does Minions, to be the ones to create the movie was really a good idea on Nintendo's part, to partner with a studio like that. So, right out of the gate, you know, it's animated, the characters look like themselves, you know, there is famous voice actors, which you can say is a strength or weakness or whatever, but at least they are big name voice actors that we know can get the job done. And most importantly, Nintendo was heavily involved in the production of the movie, and I think learned a lot from the failure of the original Super Mario Bros. Movie. So I think this one had a lot more going for it, and I think the Mario games are bigger and a little more fleshed out than they were in 1993. I think the franchise is one of the biggest franchises ever. More children recognize Mario than Mickey Mouse, so that goes to show you how huge the Mario universe is and how popular the franchise has become. So to see this movie done properly and really given a big budget and a lot of hype and all this stuff was, I think, a far cry from what the original Mario movie offered, and I think it's really did a lot for the film, and honestly, a lot of the advertising and the way that they pushed it was brilliant, I think. And especially now with viral marketing and all that stuff. I mean, you couldn't get really much better publicity than just putting stuff out there online. So, yeah, the Super Mario Bros. Movie had way more going for it, and, you know, I think the fact that video game adaptations as well, in terms of from game to big screen or small screen, have vastly improved since that time as well. You know, you have what I believe to be successes with the 2 Sonic movies, Detective Pikachu, stuff like that. We're starting to get to a point where Hollywood is sort of kind of understanding, like, if you just follow the formula of the games and base a movie off of, I don't know, the games and the plot and try to capture the feeling of that you'd have a successful film. Doesn't take rocket science to figure that out, but Hollywood is Hollywood. But yeah, you know, there's a lot more going for this. And so, you know, when I went into the movie, I kept my expectations pretty tempered because I didn't want to have high hopes for it and then be really disappointed. So, what did I think of it? Needless to say, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a wonderful movie. It completely soared above my expectations. It's no doubt, you know, crushes the original Super Mario Brothers movie. Unless you ask John Leguizamo, but that's a different story. He's a little bitter about it, but whatever. No, but it really, really soared above any expectations that I had for the movie. And, you know, I want to address, I guess, the voice casting first, because that is one thing that was sort of poked fun at and, you know, made people laugh and kind of made people go, uh-oh, you know, with this movie. Are they just kind of filling it with A-list actors and trying to, you know, give it this sort of Hollywood treatment? Is it going to be good? Whatever. Well, I can honestly say that the voice acting was really good. I would say, as far as the voice acting goes, Jack Black as Bowser was, to me, stole the show and was the best. I thought, I think her name is Anya Taylor-Joy, who played Princess Peach, was phenomenal as well. She was the one that really surprised me, because I really don't know her. I don't watch a lot of newer movies. Like, I don't go to the movies very often anymore. So I'm not as familiar with her as the other actors, but I thought she was played Princess Peach really, really well. I really enjoyed her. And also the actor who played Kamek, I thought was phenomenal. And also, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad was also great. Those are probably my favorite actors. I thought they all did a really good job and surpassed my expectations. Chris Pratt as Mario and Charlie Day as Luigi. Chris Pratt gets a lot of flack for a lot of reasons, which I won't get into. But I know he was the one that people were really upset about because they felt like he wouldn't do a good job. He's picked for everything. You know, early trailers kind of made people raise their eyebrows going, okay, I'm not convinced he's Mario. I can honestly say he did a good job. He did a decent job. He didn't do a phenomenal job. He wasn't somebody like Jack Black or Anya Taylor-Joy. Those guys who did really good jobs with the characters. I think he did a competent job, and I think he was... I didn't even really think about the fact that it was Chris Pratt playing Mario. So really, maybe he just did the job that he was supposed to do. Charlie Day, I think, was a little better as Luigi, although, you know, there were times in the movie where I was like, oh, that's definitely Charlie Day. As a big Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan, I know that actor really well, so it's, you know, for me... I'm also a huge Jack Black fan, by the way, but he really played a good, he really had a good voice for it and really just did a phenomenal job as Bowser. I thought he was great. But going back to Charlie Day, I thought he was good too. He was competent. I think they could have picked somebody better. Same with Chris Pratt, but I also think he did a fine job. As far as the other actors, we had Charles Martinet play a few characters. He played Jumpman, which just brought a smile to my face, and he also played Mario's father, which I also really enjoyed. And it was just great to hear Charles Martinet's voice. He's been in the game so long, he's been voicing these characters for so long, that to not include him at all would have been a crime, and I was glad to see that he had not a major role, but he was in there enough where I went, great, Charles Martinet got his due, you know? So that was great. And as far as, disappointments, the only real disappointments I had in voice acting was I thought Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was a bad call. I think he's passable, I'll say that. He didn't ruin the film for me, but I'm disappointed that he didn't really make any effort to try to do any kind of voice for Donkey Kong, and I think has even said that it's gonna be my voice, I don't do voice acting, whatever. It's like, well, then why'd you take the role, you know? Probably for money, I don't know, but to me, it was like, to hear Donkey Kong's laugh be Seth Rogen's laugh was a little jarring, and, again, he was passable, but I didn't really like his... they could have picked somebody way better than him, and I also wasn't a big fan of the voice of Cranky Kong. I pictured it differently. Yeah, young whippersnapper, you know, something more like that. But he was, again, competent and fine. And as far as other voices in the movie, those are the standout ones for me. But for me, Bowser, like, Jack Black was phenomenal. I loved his musical number. I'm a huge Tenacious D fan. So to hear him do a musical number and watch Bowser on the piano, that was one of the highlights of the film for me. And again, Kamek, there were some great, hilarious moments with him and Kamek, which I really liked. And yeah, I thought that was by far, in terms of the voice acting, the highlight. In terms of the plot and the story, I know this is where a lot of critics are really just haranguing the film for. It's like, oh, the plot is weak and all this stuff. And to be 100% honest with you, I think the critics just don't know what they're talking about. I think with a movie like the Super Mario Brothers movie, you can't really expect some deep plot or some, you know, what's the thing that that apparently every movie needs to have to be good, to be subversive. That's what it is. Apparently, at least this is the argument I've heard in Star Wars all the time. A movie does not need to be subversive to be good, okay? It just doesn't. Sometimes there's movies like this, like the Sonic movies, like, you know, even some of the newer Jurassic movies and stuff like that that I enjoy, that can just be fun popcorn flicks or family flicks that are just fun. You know, it doesn't need to be this serious plot, it doesn't need to be this groundbreaking thing. And it's Mario. Mario's never had, as big of a Mario fan as I am, it's never had a really intricate plot or anything completely groundbreaking. If anything, I think the movie deserves a little credit for not going with the Bowser has kidnapped Princess Peach trope that is pretty prevalent in the Mario games, which I enjoy, actually. I mean, it's classic Mario fare, but to change it up a little and have Luigi be the one that was sort of kind of dropped in the dark world where Bowser is, and then have Peach being sort of the one who shows Mario the ropes and shows the strength of her character rather than just being the damsel in distress as she has often been relegated to in the games, was cool. It was a different take, but using that classic formula of, you know, Bowser has kidnapped, well, not Princess Peach, but Luigi, and is trying to take over the Mushroom Kingdom. It works, it's simple, it was great, made for a good adventure. Bowser was a classic villain, Mario was a classic hero, Peach kind of had the classic sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know that's a really weird comparison, but she's the one kind of showing Mario the ropes of everything, and it was, the plot was perfectly fine. It wasn't anything special. Could have been better? Probably, but it was a fun movie, so to me it's not really an issue, you know. And you gotta look again at demographic. You gotta look at the fact that there's gonna be kids watching this, and families, and they're just there to have a good time and see their favorite characters and see the Mario universe properly represented in a movie, which I think this film did very successfully. So that's my thoughts on the plot. I also will admit my bias there. I'm a huge Mario fan, so I think one of the big strengths of this movie was seeing all the amazing references in this movie to all kinds of stuff with different games. From games way in the past, like Donkey Kong, in different scenes where Mario and Donkey Kong are fighting, or just the stuff in Brooklyn where they have other Nintendo games represented, like Punch-Out!, Kid Icarus, like just classic games like that was really cool. To see, you know, we got a brief glimpse of Pauline, you know, we got glimpses into all different Mario games from across the years, which was really, really neat. Even Mario, up to Mario Odyssey, you know, we got to see Bowser sporting his wedding attire from Super Mario Odyssey, so that was really cool. My favorite reference, though, and I noticed it in the theater, which made me really happy, was when they're on Rainbow Road in the carts, and Mario veers over and he jumps down to the shortcut on Rainbow Road, which is a direct reference to Mario Kart 64. I caught that, I loved it, it was an amazing moment. And also when Dixie and Diddy Kong popped up, I literally yelled Dixie Kong in the theater because I didn't expect to see her, so that was really cool. And really all the Kongs, that was really neat. And I think hints towards a Donkey Kong spin-off. I think we're going to be getting that, to be honest with you, especially with Seth Rogen being an A-list actor and being able to carry a lead role just with his name. Not that I think his voice act that great, but maybe we'll get a Donkey Kong movie. I don't know. We'll see. And what else? Yeah, I don't know. All the references in the movie were great. There's too many to count, but it was real. Oh, another great part for me, a highlight, was when Luigi first gets to the Dark World, and you kind of got that spooky Luigi's Mansion vibe to it, which was really cool. And I know Charlie Day has talked about how he would love to do a Luigi's Mansion movie, so I'm on board with that for sure, even more than the Donkey Kong movie, although I'd love that too. Give us a Luigi's Mansion movie. That would be amazing, and I think there'd be a lot of potential there with Charlie Day to do. I know I criticized him a little bit earlier in this review, but I think he could probably do a good job being all spooked out, you know? So that'd be a really cool idea. And I think this movie really opens the doors for lots of spin-offs, and not just spin-offs of Mario games. I mean, you could even have a whole Nintendo extended universe, and I know they've talked about, since this movie has been released and has been so successful, of doing other IPs, adapting other IPs to the big screen, the small screen. There was rumors of the Zelda Netflix show. Maybe that's something that is actually going to be in the cards now that the Super Mario Brothers movie has been so successful. So I don't know. I mean, to me, in terms of this movie, it's a win on nearly every front. You know, the voice acting is for the most part good. The plot is fine. It's a fun movie. I wasn't expecting anything more than what it gave us. The references were a nice little bonus. And I think it just really kicks open the doors for a sequel, spin-offs like a Donkey Kong movie or a Luigi's Mansion movie or a Yoshi's Island movie or something. Like, who knows? I mean, you could do so much with it if Nintendo's franchises continue to be adapted well to the big screen. So, yeah, a lot to be hyped about with this movie. It was really fun. I should put a little side note here that I took my daughter to the movie theater, and it was her very first movie, and she loved it, and she made a lot of fun commentary. So that was also cool to see, because she loves these characters. She's been exposed to them a lot already, so she really enjoyed it. So that was a nice little bonus for me as a dad, getting to take my little girl to the theater and watch her first experience seeing a movie, and her eyes lighting up at seeing all these characters that she really loves and that her dear old dad loves. So that was a nice little bonus for me. But yeah, overall, I think I've said my piece here with the Mario movie. I thought it was really good. Is it a perfect movie? No. But I overall really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun with it. I want to go see it again. I could see myself watching it a bunch of times, and really happy as a Mario fan. I've wanted this for many, many years. It's great to see it happen. It's great to see it done well, and props to both Illumination and Nintendo for putting out a great movie and just making all of our dreams come true. As far as a score for this one, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I don't think it was a perfect movie, but it's pretty darn close, so I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Go see the Super Mario Brothers movie if you haven't already, and watch that amazing Jack Black performance of Peaches. I'm really entertained by that. But again, big Tenacious D fan here, so I mean, I love just about everything Jack Black does, so he can do no wrong in my book. Anyway, thanks for checking out this video, guys. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, I hope you'll check out my other stuff, and check out our friendly neighborhood Discord if you want to discuss more about the Mario movie or just get deeper into what this channel is about. Until next time, everybody, peace. Bye-bye.
Here we go, off the rails.